everyone. Welcome back. I just want to put up my name on the screen. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is mejorarmivida.net, but this is Mejorar Mi Vida Coaching on Facebook. I hope you can hear me. I'm not wearing my microphone, but I wanted to be a little more flexible. I wanted to move around a little bit. Thank you for coming. This month's topic is making friends and connections. This is my favorite topic. This one is one that I coach sometimes because I do some emotional intelligence coaching, of course. Because if you followed along last month, every single one of the worksheets starts with going within and doing a self-assessment. This one is no different. And this one I love because, well, you need friends in your life to fill that wheel, right, of life. You need friends, you need acquaintances, and each friend fulfills something in your life. Now, before you go off running, trying to make some friends and connections, I want to pull you back and say, hey, girl, you need an assessment. And you do, because you want to know what kind of friend you are and what you can offer your current friends or the ones you've left behind or the ones you need to reconnect with or whatever. You got to know who you are first so you can say, ooh, I can't provide that for that friend. And therefore, I need to change it up. Or maybe you did this assessment years ago and you're like, I'm a great friend, Lizette. I'm a great friend. But the last time you did this was at the university. Are you the same person? I know I'm not. I know the last 6 years I have changed so much. And I try to do this once a year, but automatically you don't because life happens. And so when you have trouble, relationship stuff and friendships, all of a sudden you're finding yourself doing this assessment anyways. So you're going to have to start to do this. And in the mini blog, it's highlighted in green, all the questions that you're going to do. And there's 2 pictures. And in these 2 pictures, if you click on it, you will find further questions to dive deep. Now, 2 things. I don't want you to use this as a torture tool. This is not a tool for you to be like, you see, I'm a horrible person. No, girl, quit. You can't say that to yourself. This is an aha moment. This is where you say, oh, look, I am a good friend. Or you say, ooh, there's definitely room for improvement. Oh, I didn't realize that I had not been the bestest friend to that one person or in that one situation. So don't use it as a torture tool, but instead use it as an aha tool, okay? Second is you're going to have to go deep. And I mentioned this already. And this means you're going to be a detective and you're going to ask yourself questions like this. What is a good friend? Because a lot of people tell me this. And I tell you a lot of people because last year, this was the #1 topic with all of my friends and clients. This was the #1 besides getting organized and making money. This was the top thing. I want a tribe. I want people. I want friends. I don't have someone to call. So when you ask yourself, what kind of friend am I? Or am I a good friend? Go deeper. What does a good friend mean? Recently, someone said, Lizette, that means being nice. Okay, go deeper. What is being nice? Is it like calling every week or like once a month or just saying, oh, hey, how are you? And the average text. I don't know. That's going to depend on you. There is a foundation of friendship that everyone should have. And it's in my mini blog. But my own personal is kindness and respect, right? You got to sprinkle at least something of that in there. And trust me, this varies with person to person, so that's okay. So don't be too hard on yourself. If you're like, oh, listen, I'm not the best as a friend, that's fine. You're not supposed to be, as long as you're aware of it. If you're okay being a crap friend and not having that many connections, then it's okay. I also would urge you to do this with a buddy. I know your ego is going to get struck because this is very difficult to do with a friend. Because you're going to have to sit there in front of them and say, okay, friend, let's talk about it. Am I a good friend? And what does that mean? So you're going to go through it and say, well, you kind of don't do that with me, or you don't do that with so-and-so, and why not? And this is great because then you start looking at boundaries. And this is what I want you to look at. I want you to look at boundaries and limitations. Because first, you got to know yourself and the boundaries that you have and the ones that you're willing to play with. Okay, you're going to offer. And what are the limitations on each, right? And then you're going to say, well, I want this kind of friend, but you have to have a limit. Now, I got to warn you, life happens. Duh, life happens. So you're going to be hit with so many different situations where a lot of these things will ask you, life will ask you to expand on your definition or retract. And that's okay. As long as you have a basis of where you're coming from, if you know yourself, you can say, oh, that's kind of outside of my comfort zone, but I see where the situation calls for it, or I'm just not comfortable with it. I'm going to stay still. But at least you know yourself. Some people say, oh my gosh, that friend's running me over. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, have you done your inventory? Do you know your limits? And trust me, girl, you're going to mess it up. It's going to happen, and that's okay. But as long as you have some kind of foundation, you know where you're coming from. So you can start that today, because next week we're going to talk about making friends as an adult. Yes, it's a thing. I have friends, and you know who you are. You tell me, Lizette, I don't need any more friends. Okay, so maybe you don't, but some people do. Some people need to expand, and that's a lie when people say that. Girl, you know you're lying. You know you've made friends at work, some new friends. Stop. You're the most social person. I know you know who I'm talking about. Girl, call me this week. You've been ignoring me. Okay, so trust in yourself. That's the last thing I'm going to add. Trust yourself when it comes to these self-assessments, and know yourself. And again, welcome if this is your first step into emotional intelligence, because it will dive in there. Your ego may be hurt. If you're like me, constructive criticism has to be constructive, or else it's just criticism. And I don't like to be criticized. It's not fun. It's not nice, right? What's nice? Okay, that's it for me. This was kind of short and sweet. Please pop over to the mini blog, because then you'll check out in green all the questions and in the pictures. Okay, the pictures are nice because you get to print it and then do it quietly all week, because next week, making friends as an adult. Thanks so much for tuning in. I see some of you here. And I'll see you next week. Have a great one. Adios.